Before the world woke up. Before the sun touched the sky over Tehran, a silent force moved through the air. No one saw the planes, no one heard the missiles. But when morning came, Iran's nuclear dreams were burning. This is the story of a strike without soldiers, a war without warning, a moment when power spoke without words. Chapter 1. The Decision at Midnight. It was dark in Washington, very dark, but inside the White House, lights were on. President Donald Trump sat in the Situation Room. He looked tired but serious. His generals stood around him. All of them were quiet. The room was cold. The air felt heavy. Something big was about to happen. A map of Iran was on the table. Circles marked 3 places: Natanz, Isfahan, Fordo. "These are the targets," said the defense secretary. "They are part of Iran's nuclear program." Trump nodded. His eyes didn't move from the map. "How deep is Fordo?" he asked. "More than 100 meters underground," the general replied. "It's heavily protected. We need GBU 57 bunker buster bombs." Trump looked up. "And the others?" "Natanz and Isfahan are surface level," said the admiral. "We'll use Tomahawk missiles from submarines." There was a long silence. No one breathed. Then Trump spoke. "Launch the mission. Let the world know. We do not wait to be attacked." He pressed a button on the table. A secure call was made to a secret base in Guam. "Green light," the voice said. Thousands of miles away, in the Pacific Ocean, 2 B-2 Spirit bombers were waiting. Pilots received the order. Coordinates locked in. Engines on. No sound could be heard, because B-2s are invisible to radar. They fly like ghosts. Meanwhile, deep under the sea, American submarines moved into position. They carried 30 Tomahawk missiles. The time was set, just before dawn in Iran, before anyone could react, before the sky turned blue. Everything was ready. The jets, the bombs, the missiles. The decision was final. This was not just a message. This was a strike, a real one. And it was all starting. Now, Chapter 2. The targets. Natanz, Isfahan, Fordo. The sky above Iran was still dark. But under that sky, secrets lived. 3 names, 3 places, each one a part of a bigger plan. Natanz. This is where uranium is enriched. Tall white buildings, hidden behind fences, deep underground, spinning machines called centrifuges. They take uranium and turn it into fuel, or something more dangerous. Isfahan, in the heart of Iran, a busy, beautiful city, but on the edge, silence. That's where parts for nuclear bombs are made. Tiny pieces, powerful effects. Fordo, the most secret of all, built into a mountain, more than 100 meters underground, like a bunker, a place Iran believed was safe from war, safe from America. But tonight, nothing was safe. Each place had a role. Each place was a piece of the puzzle. The U.S. military knew them well. They had maps, coordinates, data from satellites, even spies maybe. But knowing is not enough. You must choose. "What do we hit first?" asked the commander. "Fordow," the general said. "If we wait, it will be too late." Natanz and Isfahan were dangerous, yes, but Fordow was different. It was a symbol of strength, of pride, of challenge. So the plan was clear. Send B-2 bombers to Fordow. Launch Tomahawk missiles at Natanz and Isfahan. All in one night. All in one breath. Before Iran could move. Before the world could speak. The mission had no room for failure. Because if one bomb missed, if one site survived, Iran's nuclear dream would continue. But if the plan worked, it would be over, finished, destroyed, erased. Forever? Chapter 3. The Ghost in the Sky. B-2 Spirit. It looked like a shadow. A bird with no tail, no sound, no lights, no trace. This was the B-2 Spirit. America's silent bomber. The most expensive warplane ever built. $2 billion for a ghost. The mission began over the Pacific Ocean, from a faraway island called Guam. 2 B-2 bombers lifted off the runway. Smooth, slow, deadly. Each bomber had 2 pilots. Young, calm, focused. They said nothing extra, only what was needed. Course set. Engines steady. Weapons armed. Inside their wings, they carried the giant, the GBU 57, a bomb made for monsters, 13 tons of metal, a bomb so strong it could crush concrete, even deep under the ground. The pilots didn't fly low, they flew high, above clouds, above radars, above danger. No one saw them, not even Iran. Because the B-2 is invisible to radar, its design is smooth, its paint is special, its body absorbs signals, it doesn't reflect light or noise. It's a flying ghost. Hours passed. They crossed oceans, deserts, mountains. They flew over silence, over fear. Then, a voice came through the radio. Target in range. Prepare to release GBU 57. The pilots looked at their screens. The red circle appeared. Fordow, the underground site, buried under rock, protected by Iran's pride. Target locked, the pilot said. Then, they dropped it. 1 bomb, then 2, then 4, then 6, each one falling fast, like a hammer from the sky. But no sound was heard, no flash was seen. The B-2s turned and flew back. Mission complete. No scratches, no signs, just ghosts returning to the sky. Far below. Iran was still asleep, but not for long. Chapter 4. The Giant Bomb. GBU 57. It is not just a bomb. It is a monster, a silent destroyer, a deep punch into the earth. Its name is GBU 57. But soldiers call it something else. The Bunker Buster. This bomb was built for one mission: to go where others can't, to break what others can't reach, to end what is hidden under the ground. That night, 6 of these bombs were loaded onto 2 B-2 Spirit bombers. Each bomb weighed over 13 tons. That's more than 2 elephants. They are long, over 6 meters. They are thick, more than 70 centimeters wide, made from steel, heavy steel, and inside, a storm. The warhead is full of high explosives. But the real power is in the body. The bomb doesn't just explode. It dives, like a missile with no wings. It falls fast. It cuts through the air. Then it drills. Fordo was the target, a nuclear site, built inside a mountain, hidden more than 100 meters below ground. Iran believed it was safe, untouchable, even from warplanes. But the GBU 57 was designed exactly for this. At 3:47 a.m., the first bomb was released. It fell from high above. It turned, spun, accelerated. It didn't stop at the roof. It didn't stop at the stone. It didn't stop at the steel. It drilled through rock, through walls, through secrets. Then, boom. The mountain shook. A second bomb came. Then a third. Then 3 more. Each one going deeper. Each one stronger. The earth roared. But the city above slept. No sirens, no alarms, no defenses. Because no one saw the B-2, and no one heard the bomb. Why is this bomb so powerful? It uses modern guidance systems, GPS, inertial navigation, smart technology. It does not fall by chance. It knows exactly where to go. And when it hits, it doesn't explode on the surface. It waits, goes deep, then detonates. The blast happens inside the mountain, not outside. This destroys bunkers, labs, hidden rooms, even steel doors. The engineers who built GBU 57 worked for years. Every part was tested, every layer calculated. They wanted accuracy. They wanted silence. They wanted fear. Because when this bomb exists, no enemy can feel safe underground. It changes war. It changes planning. It forces countries to think again. Where can we hide? Nowhere. By 4 a.m., the bombs had done their job. Fordow, the pride of Iran's nuclear program, was no more. Its deep halls, gone. Its spinning machines, silent. Its walls of rock and concrete, broken. The smoke stayed below. The fire did not rise, because the destruction was deep inside. That's what made it more terrifying. You couldn't see it, but it was real. Meanwhile, the B-2 bombers turned away. They flew back, as quiet as they came. No scratches, no signals, no trace. Iran still didn't know. Not yet. But soon, very soon. The world would wake up and Fordow would be a name remembered not for power, but for silence. Chapter 5. The Submarine Attack. Tomahawk Missiles. While the sky was quiet, the sea was moving. Deep below the waves, 2 American submarines waited, silent, still, ready. They had no windows, no light, no noise, only one job: to launch a message made of fire. Inside each submarine were Tomahawk missiles, long, thin, deadly. These were not normal missiles. They don't fly high. They fly low, very low, close to the ground, close to the sea. They twist and turn. They follow the shape of the earth. They avoid radars. They surprise. That's why the U.S. loves them. They are invisible hunters. That night, the targets were 2 big nuclear sites, Natanz and Isfahan. Both were important. Natanz, the heart of Iran's uranium work. Thousands of machines spinning day and night. Isfahan, the factory for nuclear parts, pipes, fuel, heavy water, secrets. They were protected by fences, by guards, by anti-air weapons. But they were not ready for this, because the missiles would not come from planes. They would come from the sea. At 4:15 a.m., the order was given. Launch. The submarines opened their tubes. Cold air rushed out. Then, whoosh. One by one, the Tomahawks flew. 10, 20, 30 in total. They rose to the surface, then curved and disappeared. Each missile had its own target. Each one had its own brain. It used GPS, inertial systems, topographic maps. It flew through valleys, over rivers, past cities. Quiet, fast, low. People on the ground didn't hear them. Birds flew, dogs barked, but the sky was still. At 4:32 a.m., the first missile hit Natanz. A huge explosion, then another, then more. Flames rose. Metal flew. Buildings shook. The centrifuges inside, gone. No spinning, no uranium, no future. 4 minutes later, the missiles reached Isfahan. The city was sleeping. But the edge of the city woke up in fire. Storage tanks burned, pipes exploded, the nuclear parts turned to ash. No one knew what was happening. No planes were seen. No jets were heard. It felt like the sky had crashed. But it was the sea that had spoken. Each Tomahawk carried a powerful warhead, hundreds of kilos of explosives, enough to destroy buildings, but smart enough to focus. These weren't bombs of chaos. They were surgical tools. They didn't hit homes. They didn't kill civilians. Only the targets. That was the plan, and that's what happened. By 4:45 a.m., it was over. Natanz, Isfahan. 2 names. Now just black smoke. The submarines turned, slowly, quietly. They sank deeper into the sea. Gone. They left no trail, no message, only the damage, only the silence. Above ground, Iran still didn't know who or how. But soon, they would ask, where did the attack come from? And the answer would be dash, dash. Everywhere and Nowhere, Chapter 6. Iran wakes up to smoke. The sun had not risen yet, but something else had. Smoke. Black smoke. Thick smoke. Silent and heavy, like a warning. In the early morning air, people in Natanz looked up. They smelled something strange. Burnt metal. Chemicals. Fear. At first, no one understood. There was no earthquake, no lightning, no planes. So what had happened? Then came the sirens, then the fires, then the panic. In Isfahan, windows shook, car alarms screamed. The ground moved for a few seconds. People ran outside in pajamas. Children cried. Old men whispered prayers. They saw the fires at the edge of the city. Orange light. Dark columns rising into the sky. "What is that?" someone asked. No one answered. Some pointed toward the sky. But the sky was empty. Just stars. And smoke. Near Fordow, far from cities and lights, there was silence. Too much silence. Soldiers at the gate had no answers. The mountain above the nuclear site had cracked. A soft tremble, then quiet. No fire, no sound. But something had changed. The earth had opened. By 6 a.m., Tehran began to receive reports. 3 sites, 3 attacks. No warning, no claim of responsibility. The Iranian military was confused. No radar had seen planes. No satellites had picked up movement. The question was everywhere. Who did this? And the answer felt obvious. America. But no one wanted to say it first. At 7 a.m., photos began to spread. Natanz was burning. Isfahan was blackened. Fordow was quiet. But satellite images showed something strange. A hole in the mountain. A deep scar. Iranian officials held a closed meeting. No phones, no journalists, only generals, ministers, and the supreme leader's circle. The room was tense. "This was no accident," said one general. "These were military strikes." "But from where?" asked another. "No jets crossed our borders." "The sea," someone whispered. "Or the sky above radar. Maybe both." A deadly silence followed. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei arrived later. He didn't smile. He didn't speak at first. He looked at the images, the damage, the maps. Then he asked, "How many died?" "Very few," replied the defense chief. "The attacks were precise." "No civilians?" he asked again. "No, sir. Only facilities." Khamenei stood still. Then he spoke slowly. "They destroyed our dreams, but left our people. Outside the halls of power, people were asking questions. Was this war? Was this the beginning? Will America strike again? Or was this the end? On social media, Iranians shared photos, videos, smoke, flames. Some showed anger, some showed fear, some showed silence. In the evening, Iranian TV made a short announcement. There were explosions at 3 nuclear-related sites, the anchor said. Investigations are ongoing. The situation is under control. But no one believed it. Not fully. Not after what they had seen. By nightfall, the fires were lower. The sirens stopped. But the questions remained. What happened under that mountain? What burned in those labs? What future was lost in that smoke? One thing was clear. Iran had been hit. Hard, fast, from above and below. But who would answer? Would Iran strike back? Would it stay silent? The world was watching, and Iran was still breathing. But something inside had changed. Chapter 7. No boots, no blood. There were no tanks, no helicopters, no soldiers jumping from planes. This was not Iraq. This was not Afghanistan. This was different. In war, people expect boots on the ground, soldiers with rifles, battles in streets, flags flying in the wind. But not this time. This time, the war came in silence. With no faces, no names, no uniforms, just machines, flying, falling, exploding. The United States had attacked, that much was clear, but they did not send armies. They did not land forces on Iranian soil. They didn't want to occupy. They wanted to destroy and leave. In past wars, soldiers stayed for years. They fought. They died. They built bases. They fought again. But this mission was designed differently. It was fast, clean, focused. They hit only 3 places. They killed no civilians. They risked no American lives. From Washington's point of view, it was perfect. The weapons did the work. The B-2 bomber flew thousands of kilometers without being seen. The GBU 57 bombs crushed deep bunkers without missing. The Tomahawk missiles flew from the sea like ghosts and struck with precision. And when it was done, America said nothing. No speech, no press conference, no celebration, only silence. This kind of war is called surgical warfare. Like a doctor uses a sharp tool to cut one part and leaves the rest untouched. No need to break the whole body. Just remove the danger. But this kind of war is also cold. It shows power without emotion. It kills buildings, not people. But the message is clear. We can hit you, anytime, anywhere, and you won't even see it coming. Some in Iran's military understood this. A general said, "They want to humiliate us, not just hurt us." Another replied, They're showing us. We are not safe underground. Not safe anywhere. They were angry. Yes. But they were also impressed. In Tehran, students gathered in secret cafes. They whispered, "Why didn't our air defense stop them? Why didn't we see the missiles? Are we really that weak?" And a harder question, should we respond or stay quiet? Iran had missiles. It had drones. It had allies in Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon. But to strike back meant one thing: war. And this time, Iran would not control the battlefield. Inside the government, some pushed for action. "They must pay," one advisor shouted. "This is an attack on our sovereignty." But others were calm. "They didn't kill our people," said a minister. "They didn't bomb our cities. They hit our program, yes, but not our people." The room went quiet. Then someone asked, "Is this really war, or just a message?" That was the strange thing. No boots, no blood, no battle. But still, it felt like a defeat. Because when your best protected places are destroyed, and you can't even stop it, that is worse than losing a fight. That is losing power. The world watched closely. Other countries took notes. Russia, China, North Korea, even Israel. They saw what America did. A war without soldiers, a strike without noise, a victory without bodies. This was the new face of war. In the quiet of the night, Tehran's skyline was unchanged. The streets were calm. Shops opened. Children went to school. But underground, in the places that mattered, there was nothing left. No machines, no fuel, no future, just walls and dust. Chapter 8. Tehran's Dilemma. To respond or not. The walls of power in Tehran were thick, but the pressure inside was thicker. Inside the command rooms, silence. Outside, voices grew louder. The people were confused, afraid, and waiting for an answer. Supreme Leader. Ali Khamenei sat alone. He held no papers, no phones, just silence and thought. His generals waited outside. No one dared to speak without permission. The question on everyone's mind was simple. Should we strike back? But the answer was not. General Rahimi entered first. "Supreme Leader," he said, "we must respond." Khamenei nodded slowly. "Go on." "They attacked us. They destroyed 3 of our most important sites. And they said nothing." Rahimi's voice grew stronger. "If we stay silent, the world will think we are weak. Israel will laugh. America will plan more attacks. We must show strength." Khamenei looked down, then turned to the others. The foreign minister stepped forward. His tone was different. "If we respond with missiles," he said, "we will start a war. And if we start a war, we may lose everything." Another advisor added, The Americans did not hit civilians. They were careful. If we attack their bases now, we become the aggressors. Khamenei's face was still, hard to read, but his eyes were listening. A third voice entered the room, an older man, quiet, respected. He said, "They did not come to stay. They came to send a message." The room was silent. "And what message is that?" Khamenei asked. "They can reach us, anywhere, even in our deepest places, even when we are asleep." No one spoke after that. That night, a smaller meeting took place. The inner circle, 5 men, 1 decision. Khamenei looked at a map, not of Iran, but of the whole region, Iraq, Syria, the Gulf. "Where are our friends?" he asked. "Hezbollah is ready," someone said. "Our militias in Iraq are angry," said another. "Our drones are fueled." But Khamenei shook his head. Not yet. He stood and faced the group. "We are not afraid of war. We are not afraid of death, but we are not fools. They hit our program, but not our people. They used bombs. We will use time." Some were shocked, some relieved, but the decision was made. No immediate response. Not today, not tomorrow, but later, when they least expect it. Outside, the world waited for Iran's move. Israeli jets stayed in the sky. Saudi radars stayed on. American warships stayed close. But no missiles came. No bombs dropped. Just speeches. On Iranian TV, a message was broadcast. "This is not the end," the anchor said. "We are patient. We are watching. And we will answer when the time is right." In the streets, people argued. "Why are we quiet?" asked one man. "Where is our pride?" Another replied, "Do you want war? Do you want bombs in Tehran?" Silence followed. Across the ocean, in Washington, the president received the update. "No response yet," said the National Security Advisor. Trump smiled. "Good," he said. "Let them sit in it." He didn't speak of war. He didn't post tweets, just silence. Because silence, too, can be power. Inside Iran, the damage remained. The sights were broken. The dreams paused. But the fire in Tehran was not out. It burned quietly, waiting, planning. Because sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one who waits. Chapter 9. The world holds its breath. The bombs had fallen. The fires had burned. And now, there was only waiting. Not just in Iran, not just in America, but everywhere. The world was watching and holding its breath. In New York, news tickers moved fast. U.S. strikes Iranian nuclear sites, they said. On TV, experts debated. Was it a message? Was it war? Some said it was bold. Others said it was reckless. But one thing was clear. Something had changed. In Beijing, Chinese leaders met in silence. One official said, "If America can strike Iran like this, who's next?" They feared the message. They feared the technology. They feared the strategy. A war without soldiers, without warning, without loss. For one side. In Moscow, President Putin watched closely. He had warned the world many times. "Don't trust the silence of the Americans," he once said. Now, that silence had become a weapon. Russia began to move its forces, just in case. In Tel Aviv, there was celebration. Israeli leaders smiled. Finally, one said, someone stopped the Iranians. But even in victory, they stayed alert. Because silence can break fast. In Tehran, the mood was different. The people were awake, not just from the explosions, but from realization. Their government was vulnerable. Their pride had been touched, their strength tested. But the streets were not full of protests. They were full of whispers. Is this the beginning? Will we strike back? Will they come again? No one had answers. At the United Nations, leaders gathered. Some asked for calm. Others asked for justice. The Iranian ambassador stood and spoke. "We were attacked. Our nuclear sites were destroyed. And we were given no voice. Is this the world order you want?" But the U.S. ambassador replied, "We stopped a threat. No lives were lost, and the world is safer." The room went silent. Back in Washington, Trump met his advisors. "Any movement?" he asked. "None," said the security chief. "Iran is still quiet." Trump smiled. "Good. Let them think." Then he stood up. "We don't want war. We just want them to stop." The room nodded. But everyone knew. This was only one round. The internet exploded. Videos of smoke, images of broken buildings, maps, theories. Some people praised the strike. Some feared it. Some didn't know what to believe. But everyone was watching and waiting. Because war is not just about fighting. It's about fear. It's about timing. It's about who moves next and who stays still. In Iran, the generals trained quietly. The missiles were counted. The drones checked. No launch. Not yet. But they were ready. They always had been. In the end, the world had seen something new. Not a war with tanks. Not a war with bodies, but a war with precision, with silence, with technology. A war where the winner doesn't bleed and the loser doesn't die, but breaks. A single question now echoed across the globe. Is this peace, or just the pause before the storm? And no one, not America, not Iran, not even the world, knew the answer. Not yet. What do you think? Was this the end of a war, or the beginning of a bigger one?